It was a triple threat TLC match for the WWE Championship. Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, and The Miz. A very good match here, obviously starting out as McIntyre and AJ Styles. The Miz interjected himself halfway through, cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase to make it a triple threat match, a la WrestleMania 31 with Rollins, Lesnar, and Reigns. The early part of the match was great. I thought adding Miz in there was very smart because it made it very unpredictable as far as the outcome was concerned. And I like this a lot. AJ sold his ass off for McIntyre. McIntyre was great. Just a very, very good opener, and it saw McIntyre retain the title as he should have, as he walks into the new year still the WWE Champion. So, what were your thoughts on this, Mr. Marceau? It was probably my favorite match in the entire show.
Yeah, it was a good match. I was honestly surprised it started the show off. If it wasn't going to main event, it should have probably started the show off just because with the TLC matches, you obviously don't want those back-to-back. So start having that one first, and then Roman and KO being kind of like the semi-main event made sense, not like overkill with the TLC stipulation. But no, I thought this was great. McIntyre looked good. AJ bumped and sold very well. And Miz coming at the end did bring some uncertainty. I didn't expect Miz to win. I kind of figured Drew would retain here. So that was good. And then, it was a good match. Good start of the show. And yeah, I'd probably say it was my match of the night, probably. So started the show off good, but I think it was a good match. I think the rest of the show kind of followed suit in that as well.
I saw some people say, not a lot, very few fans, but I saw some people say, oh, this was a joke of a cash-in. What a terrible cash-in. He didn't cash in successfully. Listen, Mr. Marceau, you know few bigger Miz fans than myself. I had no desire to see him win the championship here, just because he's been booked so badly in 2020, at least since Ian Morrison dropped the SmackDown tag titles, as he said last week, earlier on in the year. But, there was absolutely no reason for him to be becoming WWE champion on this show. I thought the way they did it was great, because there was a chance, with it being a triple threat, he didn't have to pin McIntyre. There was a chance that he could have become champion here. And I thought the way they did this cash-in was great. And yeah, was it a waste of a cash-in? Absolutely. In terms of, it was such a wash of a year for the Money in the Bank briefcase, at least for the guys. I feel like that briefcase is starting to become cursed with how it's been booked in the last couple of years.
Oh, completely. The Money in the Bank, not even that. Well, I'm trying to think of the old times. I don't really remember being. I think more of anything now, it's not even that it's cursed. It's just you win it, and then they book you like a loser, and then when you win it, they expect people to care about you, which makes no sense. But lately, couldn't even tell you the last person that cashed in actually was successful. So that's another, bad note on the cash-in. But, even when people would cash in, they'd be coming off losing streaks, and they're like, oh, why do people not care about this person? Well, they've been losing for the last couple of months, so...
Jack Swagger.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, before they would cash in, but they were losers, so no one cared. And then, when Braun won it, I was hoping he would cash in successfully. He didn't. Otis, who gives a shit? Miz, now it's just coming to a point that they cash in, they just never cash in successfully. Like Baron Corbin didn't. And I don't know, what's the point of putting the briefcase on him? You're not going to, the whole point of putting it on them is, to give them that chance that they normally wouldn't get and, elevate them. But lately they haven't been doing that at all, so we'll see. But
yeah.
We'll see, but, I thought, Drew's the one, Drew's the guy, and Miz taking the belt off him, I don't think would have done any good for the WWE, so I have no ill will for him not cashing in.
It's actually benefited the women more than it has the men. You forgot to mention Brock, but did it elevate Brock? Obviously not. Brock can't go any higher than he is right now, and he cashed in successfully, but he had no reason to win the Money in the Bank briefcase in the first place. So I would say the real last person to benefit from holding that briefcase, Dean Ambrose cashed in 4 or 5 years ago on the same night that he won the championship. Did he benefit from it? Yeah, because he became champion and he was the main event guy for a couple months. But the last real Mr. Money in the Bank that I would say, having held the briefcase for a long time and that really benefited from it was Seth Rollins in 2014, cashing in 2015. Sheamus was a joke when he fucking won the thing, like you said. They win the briefcase, and they'll lose a lot, and they expect you to care when they become champion. It's ass-backwards booking. It never really works. And this time was no exception. So I'm glad that Miz did not cash in successfully. And the concept, at least for the guys, has been a complete wash the last couple of years. But I can't say entirely, because you look at the women and how they book them. You know, Carmella held it for a long time. She cashed in successfully, had a decent run. I'm not the biggest Carmella fan, but I thought, the way that she was booked overall wasn't terrible. Then you had Alexa Bliss cash in the same night. She won the championship that night. Didn't really benefit from it, but, whatever. Bayley cashed in the same night. She was champion for a while. This year it was Asuka. Didn't really cash in, but, she cashed in or whatever the next night. Won the Raw Women's Championship from it. Not ideal with the way that the women have held it in the last couple of years. They haven't really had runs with it the same way that Carmella did. But at least they haven't been booked badly and haven't cashed in unsuccessfully like the men. There hasn't been an unsuccessful women's cash-in yet, as opposed to the men. So it's just really weird to me the way they've handled it. It's a complete joke, a complete afterthought at this point. I wouldn't get rid of the match at all. I think it still has a lot of juice. I just think it was a complete waste of the briefcase in 2020. But they actually teased on Raw. We'll mention it right now. The Miz teased on Raw, it was John Morrison who cashed in, so therefore I should still be Mr. Money in the Bank. Please tell me, RJ, that is only just a joke or just a tease. Not even a tease. It was just like a subtle thing, as opposed to like, that's something that we'll actually do going forward and giving the briefcase back to Miz, because I think that would be a giant mistake. Just have him cash in, lose as he did on Sunday, and then just move the hell on from it.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I hope, like you said, they're just mentioning it and they just don't go back to it. Because it'd be one thing if maybe he, came down, Morrison cashed in and then he got Claymored and then he just lost and you'd be like, well, I wasn't there. He participated in the match for, 10 minutes. So it's, not even, it was, a quick thing and he was just trying to, be like, he actually cashed in, not me. You clearly were a willing participant in this. You were in the match for, 10 minutes, so if they do that, just fucking stupid. He cashed in. He was clearly willing. He wrestled for 10 minutes. I mean, it wasn't like a fluky thing, and then he lost it, and he could just be like a little heel and be like, it wasn't me. You were participating in a match for at least 10 minutes. Don't bitch. So I hope that they don't do it. He lost fair and square. Don't do this to me. He lost. Move on.
Yeah. Let's just move on from this, please.